on AM 950 WROL, the spirit of Boston.
And good Saturday morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Car Doctor program on AM 950 WROL, the spirit of Boston. My name is John Paul, the Car Doctor, here to help you with your car problems on this Saturday morning. And it's a nice-looking Saturday outside this morning. A little brisk, maybe. A little kind of in the 20s, I guess, outside this morning. A little chilly, but still the sun's out and all the wind from the other night is gone. So hopefully your car survived and your house survived, all of that. And we can talk to you more about car problems a little bit later. But with us on the phone is DT Dignan. Diane Dignan wrote a book called Race from the Finish, among other books that she's written. And it looks pretty interesting. And I wanted to have her on the program. So good morning, Diane, and welcome to the Car Doctor program here in Boston.
Well, good morning, John Paul. How are you?
Good. Well, let's start off first, the book. What was the inspiration for the book, and who was your audience in mind when you wrote it?
Well, actually, the inspiration for the story came from a 1956 Chevy Bel Air sport coupe that my husband and I owned. And my dad had one like her when he was 19 and courting my mother, except, of course, he had the convertible. And, looking at how people reacted to the car when we take her to car shows, etc., and the emotional connection and the memories associated with her, I started to wonder about what her story may have been and who may have driven her in the past. And I had also read quite a bit about the cars, the Tri-5s during the period, and that they had souped up the engines and that they were known as the hot ones.
Mm-hmm.
And that they had been entered in quite a bit of racing and climb Pikes Peak, etc. So suddenly the story of John Powerhouse Powers was born, and it came from there.
Well, I noticed you also said her a couple times when you were talking about your Chevy. Does she have a name?
Well, I call her Little Darling.
Well, because people are very passionate about their cars, and I've always joked that cars are one of the few inanimate objects that people name. People can love their matching washer and dryers, but nobody ever calls them by name.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, and so cars have a very emotional attachment to people, and that they can. And a lot of things happen. They're more than just appliances, so it doesn't surprise me. So, the book looks at John Powers, your character in the book, and the title "Race from the Finish" sounds like the backwards way to start a race. How'd the title come up?
Well, "Race from the Finish" is actually referring to his finish, the end of his life.
Uh-huh.
So it's a little play on words. And basically, it starts out at the end of his life and then goes back immediately to his childhood, where he starts with his first soapbox derby.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the itch then for racing and takes through his life as he pursues his dream. And his character changes over time as it becomes all-encompassing. And he starts to put it before the people in his life. And basically, he's given an opportunity to relive the day in his life, a climax day, a big race in the mid-50s that totally changes the outcome of his life.
Mm.
But in the course of telling the story, we get to see a lot of historic Merc, as it was called then. It's now ARCA.
Mm-hmm.
NASCAR information, information about the historic cars that he drove in the 50s, early 50s and up, and how the sport was quite a bit different back then.
And what kind of research did you do to try to stay factual, among other things, when you were putting the book together?
Quite a bit, actually. I read books about racing at the time. I actually watched live footage of races, which was quite interesting. Interviewed some folks, did some research online. So there were a lot of different avenues at the end. Learned quite a bit about the local tracks in the Pittsburgh area where he grows up. Actually studied maps from the early 50s of that time, so I know the names of roads, etc. Looked at the outcomes of the races, so it's very factual. For example, his first race, still in high school, locally, is on the opening day of the Mercer Speedway in Pennsylvania, which was its actual opening day. And dirt tracks were popping up around the area because it was a form of entertainment, and it was lucrative. And these guys could come out and bring their car, cover up the headlights, and go.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So,
yeah, a little bit different than today's racing, where it takes millions and millions of dollars. The early days of racing was truly that it was, the guy behind the garage that was putting the car together that went out to race, and racers were not known as the most reputable and upstanding citizens of their day.
no, they weren't, and that's actually part of the challenge that he has. The community of racing is actually changing at that time and going from, what it was back in the early 40s to the mid-40s, being seen as a lot of moonshiners because they had the best cars,
Right. The bootleggers could go faster than the sheriff.
Yeah. And racing to a lucrative sport. And, in the late 40s when the France family got into NASCAR and kind of made it more respectable, it changed quite a bit. So it was interesting to see the transition there, and that's part of the battle that he has, as he's trying to convince his family, his mother in particular. It's not something bad. It's something that he really loves doing and wants to pursue it and make it his career.
Now, certainly it's a book about life and relationships and the twists and turns, but in your writing career, did you ever think you were going to write a book about racing?
No.
No?
No, I didn't. It just kind of evolved. You get an idea between your teeth and you go for it. And in my first novel was more of, I call it a woman's novel. And I didn't want to get boxed into a certain genre.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw this as a challenge, and it forced me to have to learn about something I only know a little bit about. So it was really enjoyable. I spent as much time or more time researching than I did actually writing a book.
So have you become a NASCAR fan after all this?
A little bit, yeah. I do enjoy it. I understand it better. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it sounds pretty fascinating, and just the idea that some of the, like you said, the factual research for someone who has an interest in racing but also likes just a good story to read. It sounds like it'd be something pretty enjoyable for someone to pick up and read.
That was the idea. Yeah, as I kept that in mind as I was writing it, so that both men and women would like it.
Mm-hmm.
And tried to write it with quite a bit of action as well as the drama side of it. So,
well, good.
I think that'll appeal to people who enjoy classic cars and racing.
Well, it sounds great. I know we just got them yesterday. We got a couple copies in the mail that we are going to be giving away, and so a couple of our lucky listeners will be able to get a copy of the book. And it is called Race from the Finish. By DT Dignan, by Diane Dignan, and what are your other two books? I think you wrote a children's novel too.
I did. I wrote a children's book called Bartholomew's Gift. It's won several awards, both for the illustrations and the writing, and it was released a few years ago. And basically, that is a little more on the spiritual side of things. That's about a little boy who can see angels, and how he loses his gift over time, only to realize she was with him all along.
Ah.
Yeah, and it's been fun. It's been very successful, and won a Gold Mom's Choice Award.
Great.
And so it's got a CD in the back of it with narrating the story with a song. So a lot of people have enjoyed that. And then the first one is a novel called The Boys Club. The main character there is a woman in her mid-30s, career-minded woman, that it talks about her life and some of the struggles of giving up conventional marriage and family for career, and how that can, turn out. So, yeah, very different.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah. Now, do you still have your ¡56 Chevy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's in the garage now, covered up out of the snow.
Oh, there you go. Okay, all right. Just had to check on that because on the program here we talk about cars, so we have to make sure we did that. And the book Race from the Finish, where is it available?
It's available on my website, which is racefromthefinish.com.
Okay.
It's available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or it could be requested and ordered at any bookstore.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, thank you for taking a little bit of your time out of your Saturday morning and joining us up here in Boston.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, take care now. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
That was Diane Dignan. DT Dignan is the author of Race from the Finish, a book about a little bit about the history of NASCAR, but with some interesting twists in the middle. And I haven't had a chance to really look through it because it just came the other day. So, but we are going to be giving away a copy of it, and we'll be doing that with trivia. We also will be hearing from a fellow who has, and it's just a little recorded clip I have, who drives one of the most interesting vehicles that I have ever seen, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. So we got trivia coming up to win a book. Also, we're still looking for entries to win the backup camera. So if you want to win a Pile video backup camera, so it mounts over the license plate, little, actually pretty good size, 4-inch screen. It wires all into your backup lights, so when you put the car in reverse, you can see backing up. So if you have a car with a lot of blind spots in it, if you have a pickup truck that you tow a boat or a camper with, and you want to make lining up to that trailer a little bit easier, the installation is provided by you, or maybe Marita can put it in. I don't know. One of the others. I saw her replacing light bulbs this morning. So if she can do that, she can put a backup camera in. I talked to somebody who actually bought one, and they told me they installed it. They actually installed it in a little cubby in the dash of the car they were putting it in, or a pickup truck they were putting it in. And they said total installation time, taking their time, was a couple of hours. So you can look at a couple hours worth of installation. Pretty straightforward, though. Pretty basic looking. But we have that to give away, and to win that, all you have to do is either write or email me. So you can write to me here, care of the address of the radio station. So you can Car Doctor Radio, 500 Victory Road, North Quincy, Mass. 02171. Just put John Paul on it somewhere, or John Paul the Car Doctor, or Salem Radio Boston, John Paul. Somewhere put my name on it so they know where to do it, so they know where to put the mail. Or you can email me at jpaul, J-P-A-U-L, at AAASNE.com. We haven't gotten a lot of entries yet, which is kind of good in one way, because that means that people aren't just trying to win it to win it. They want to win they have a use for it. So if you have a use for this, and so far you got a pretty good chance to win, all you have to do is either drop me an email at jpaul at AAASNE.com, or a postcard or a letter or something to Salem Radio Boston, 500 Victory Road, North Quincy, Mass. 02171. Put my name on it somewhere, and you'll be entered into a drawing to win. We'll be taking entries for a couple weeks till we get a few of them to put down here, and then we'll be good to go. We need to take a break. My name's John Paul. This is the Car Doctor program. When we come back, we'll put out the trivia question, and we'll talk about the most interesting car that I have seen in a long time. My name's John Paul. This is the Car Doctor program, heard exclusively on AM 950 WROL, the Spirit of Boston.
Now, let's get back to the Car Doctor.
Where were you when your identity thief robbed you? The airport Wi-Fi connection last week? The free wireless at your hotel? Or that mobile hotspot where you got coffee? When connecting to Wi-Fi through smartphones and laptops, you could be inviting identity thieves in, potentially handing over everything. Bank accounts, social security numbers, passwords, and basically saying, go ahead, destroy my credit, and take over my bank accounts. LifeLock Ultimate is the only identity theft protection service that monitors for bank account takeover fraud. It's the line between panic and protection. Enjoy the peace of mind that comes from arming yourself with LifeLock Ultimate. Visit LifeLock.com or make the quick call today and mention Enroll 60 to get 60 days risk-free. If you're not happy, call LifeLock within 60 days of enrollment and you won't pay a cent. See LifeLock.com for details. Call 1-800-638-6157. 1-800-638-6157. 1-800-638-6157. Network does not cover all transactions and scope may vary.
ACOS, the solutionist here. Putting on a few extra pounds? Who isn't? What if all this famous TV doctor stuff about green coffee extract really worked? Didn't their study show a 17.5-pound decrease in test subjects over 22 weeks? It's not only got me thinking about it, I'm attempting to lose weight, so I'm trying it out. Changed my lifestyle, and I'm losing weight. You should too. So here's the deal. We found a great formula made right here in America. A 30-day supply normally sells for $39.99. It's the real thing, pure quality, and it's worth trying. But if you act right now, we'll triple the offer. That's not 1 month supply, but how about a 3-month supply, still only $39.99? Can't beat that. So call 1-888-877-0490. That's 1-888-877-0490, or go to mycoolgadgets.com. That's mycoolgadgets.com to claim your offer. If you don't lose the weight, send the bottles back and we'll refund the money you spent on the bottles. What do you have to lose? Oh yeah, your weight. 1-888-877-0490, or go to mycoolgadgets.com now.
You're listening to The Car Doctor.
And welcome back to the Car Doctor program on AM 950 WROL, the Spirit of Boston. Our phone number, write it down, 617-770-3030, 617-770-3030. And if you want to win a copy of DT Dignan's book, Race from the Finish, you have to know, what is the best-selling car of all time? What is the best-selling car of all time? If you know the answer to that, give us a call at 617-770-3030, 617-770-3030. And the most unusual car that I have seen in a long time was the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, which is going to be at the Price Right Supermarket in Seekonk today. So if you have nothing to do this morning and you want to take a ride to the Price Right Supermarket in Seekonk, that's where it's going to be. But when I was there, I stopped and asked this question. Or not.
BaconBits Jacobsen, and I drive the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
I got your email.
Oh, great.
So what's it like driving the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile?
It's kind of like being in a parade every single day. It's a 27-foot-long hot dog. It's 8 feet wide and 11 feet high. So, everyone just smiles and waves when we drive down the road.
And so have you met some interesting people out on the road?
Yeah, that's one of the best parts of the job. We get to travel all over the country for an entire year. We get to see amazing places and also meet, some great people along the way.
And what's this thing like to drive?
It's a little bit different from driving a normal vehicle. Like I said, everyone, it's definitely an attention getter. So everyone waves and honks, takes pictures. So it's just a lot of fun to drive. It's kind of unlike any other vehicle on the road.
Do you know what kind of vehicle it is underneath?
Yep, it's on a Chevrolet chassis. And yeah, we've got some ketchup and mustard colored seats inside. We have a ketchup and mustard walkway, blue sky ceiling in the Wienermobile, and of course the jingle horn, which sings, "I wish I were an Oscar Mayer Wiener."
Did you ever get a ticket in it?
Nope. No, we go through a lot of training to drive it, so we're very safe by the time we hit the road.
All right, great. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Kevin BaconBits Jacobsen. I didn't ask his co-driver what her name was, but it really is. It is 11 feet high. It's 27 feet long, and it's 8 feet wide. And just to put that into dog mentions, it is 24 hot dogs high, 60 hot dogs long, and 18 hot dogs wide. It is. It has gull-wing door, one gull-wing door with an automatic retractable step. It has a hot dog-shaped dashboard, which it does do. It has a hot dogger voice-activated GPS navigation system. It does have a ketchup walkway. Condiment splattered carpet. Yeah, it looks like right out in front of the hot dog bar where you would think of where mustard and ketchup get spilled. That's what it looks like. Computerized control panel with sound system to relish. That's it. Removable bun roof. Not making this stuff up. Rear navigation camera, like you can have if you enter our contest. 6 mustard and ketchup colored seats, a smiling front grille, and an official Wiener jingle horn. So It's a pretty interesting vehicle. Their first Oscar Mayer Wienermobile was actually in 1936, and it looked more like a trailer back then. And then they had a rock and roll one, rock and roll Red Hot in 52. They had a Space Age one in 58. They had one they called the Hot Dog with the Works in 1988. Today's Wienermobile vehicle at least started off in 2004. And they also, in 2008, built a little mini wiener out of a Mini, actually, and it was the Mini Wienermobile. So must have been the diet one, but it does use a converted Chevrolet pickup truck chassis or Suburban. It's a 6-liter Vortec engine in it. It claims to run on high octane mustard. But that is the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. So, trivia today is, what was the best-selling car of all time? And let's see if Phil has the answer. Phil, do you have the answer? What is the best-selling car of all time?
Toyota Corolla.
You are absolutely right, Phil. You will get a copy of DT Dignan's book, A Race to the Finish. And we'll put you on hold. We'll get down your name and address, and we'll get this in the mail to you sometime this week.
Okay, thank you, Kyle.
All right, thank you. All right, so Marita will do that. And when she comes back, she needs to translate the Rick question of the week for me. So we'll let her get that information down. Well, another Toyota recall, it seems like. Toyota Motor Corporation on Wednesday announced recalls involving more than 1 million vehicles, some, speaking of which, 752,000 Corollas and Corolla Matrix, which is what they called it here. But Toyota Matrix was, I suppose, a Corolla Matrix, but it's that were manufactured in the U.S. and thousands of similar vehicles in Japan, Mexico, and Canada that were manufactured between 2001 and 2004 are being recalled for airbags that can improperly, they call it in this article, inflate. Deploy is a real term, I guess. Some 141,000 vehicles are in Canada are part of the recall. According to Toyota, in a second recall, about 270,000 Lexus IS sedans from 06 to 2012 model years will be recalled to check for a loose nut on the front windshield wipers. So, of the two recalls announced on Wednesday, the Corolla Matrix issue is more involved. Toyota says the airbag control module for the supplemental restraint system has a faulty circuit board. If it malfunctions, it could cause a short, causing a buildup of heat, and potentially causing the airbags or seatbelt pretensioners to deploy when there hasn't been a crash. So that translates in airbag goes off when you drive down the road. Bad idea. Owners of the models will receive a letter telling them to bring their vehicle in to the dealers for repairs. Who knows what the real, how many of them are really bad, but they're recalling, more than what needs to be recalled. But what's kind of interesting about this, I guess, is, how many they'll actually fix. So I guess if I owned a 2001 to 2004 Corolla or Matrix, I don't think I'd want to, smoke a pipe. I wouldn't want to drive with my arm on top of the steering wheel. More that lower hand position, 3 and 9, 4 and 8, just in case. The windshield wiper problem, which can get stuck in heavy snow, not that big a deal. It affects three kinds of Lexus IS models, manufactured from 05 to October 2011. And, again, it's about 250,000 cars. So basically what happens if there's a lot of snow on the windshield wipers and you go to turn it on, the nut comes loose and then the wipers don't work. So, couple things to look at there. We have to get a couple of guests on the phone here one of these days. One is we need to find out about building a Ford Roadster or something along those lines. We also need to get Dave Smith from Factory 5 that builds the Cobra and other kit cars. Just because he's local, he's in Wareham, so easy to do. And also this guy, Rich Taylor, who is he does these rallies. And one coming up in May is called the New England 1000. And it starts May 19th. It runs through Friday, May 24th. And it is beautiful cars that go all over New England and part of Vermont. Well, New England is Vermont, isn't it? But it starts off in actually part of, they call it the New England 1000, but it starts in New York. It ends up in New England, I guess, is why they call it that. But our rally cars will be part of the Saratoga Invitational Concours Award. Afterwards, we'll transition for dinner and overnight at the Sagamore, a newly restored 1883 Grand Hotel on its own private island. Hope it has a bridge. We can safely leave tow rigs for the week. If you're flying in, we'll pick you up at the Albany Airport. Gene has booked rooms for Saturday night, so that's his partner in this. If you would like to arrive early in the week and relax before, they can take care of that. So they go around the Adirondack Mountains. Sounds like a pretty good thing. Then they do a Northwest Passage, which, and then something called the Mountain Millet in September. And then finally, the Texas 1000. And these rallies used to be, they had a variety of them that were only for 12-cylinder cars, only for exotic cars, only for Mercedes cars. They had a variety of different rallies that they would put together. And, I mean, we got to find out about Rich and Gene Taylor's thing. Years and years ago, I had Rich Taylor on the program to talk about the rally, so we'll have to do it again. If you have a question about your car, our phone number is 617-770-3030, 617-770-3030. Phone lines are open if you would like to chat with us about your car problems, or something to do with the Super Bowl. What's the question? What's Rick's question of the week here?
So Rick's question is with the Super Bowl being this weekend.
All right.
He wants to know why there isn't a bigger audience, I guess I should say, or publicity for something like the Super Bowl as, Daytona 500, that kind of thing.
So why isn't there, why isn't there the same level of commercial advertising in the Daytona 500 as there is in the Super Bowl?
Well, basically just why there's so much popularity for the Super Bowl. Like, why isn't there that kind of hype for something such as, like, the Daytona 500 kind of thing?
I don't
Something
know.
along those
I don't know. What do you think?
That's a good question, because to me it seems like it has to do with the publicity, advertising kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's, for whatever reason, the halftime show has kind of eclipsed the game.
That actually seems to be true, because they're bringing in all these, like, popular acts and whatnot who in itself has their own publicity.
Yeah, although I have to wonder, I don't know what, as people listen to this show know, I'm not a sports fan, but a 30-second spot apparently in the Super Bowl is $3.8 million.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so if I was Hyundai, who bought a 30-second spot for $3.8 million, and it wasn't, say, the Patriots that are playing now, which would get a lot bigger audience than the teams that are playing now. I gotta wonder if they're thinking, I hope our money was well spent.
How long, like, how far ahead of time do they have to?
I think they have to